Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. College Basketball DFS Pre-Lock Live. I've never gotten that right. Pre-Lock Live for Tuesday night, March 1st. Wow, we're in March. March Madness month. Tourney month. Tourneys are starting, right? Especially the smaller ones. A lot of basketball. And the next month, Pete Cole here from YFC, your Fiddler's Choice, with Chris Duffy and Riley picks 345. What's up, my guys? What's going on?
Not much.
It's Riley, how are you?
Great.
Soccer man. I see some soccer winners already today in a winning lineup room, huh?
Yeah, we're doing it's a little slow week for soccer, but there's always with soccer you always got something going on, which is nice. So we got soccer, but personally, today, looking forward to today. Big Badger game. March basketball can't get better than this month. So great day.
This is when the fun starts. This is the best month of the year. We're not going to sleep much. We're going to hopefully DraftKings is going to supply us with a lot of day games the next week or so. They should. We thought that in November also, and they end up giving us there's 2 games in those November tournaments, but it's March, so 10 game slate today. Once again, your Fiddler's Choice. Check us out. The Discord is free. This show is free. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to us. Like I said, 6:30 slot. Check us out, and we're gonna get going right away. I'm getting that vibrating in my ear. If one of you guys is here. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit every game. Okay. All you guys, please ask any questions in YouTube. If somebody can't get on YouTube, ask them in a general Discord room. But we are going to go each game. We're going to go. Chris is pretty much our cash guy. Riley's our GVP guy. We kind of crushed last night. Actually, had a really good night. Besides Dejon Davis getting hurt in the late game, Washington. But we still end up cashing. And let's go. And we'd be at it by 6:20. First game of the night. Tennessee traveling to Georgia. This is 6:30. So we have 2 slates actually locking at 6:30, which I kind of hate that because we do have some news here that we want to figure out, which we'll go through it. But it's Tennessee, Georgia. Tennessee going to Georgia, but Tennessee's a 16-point favorite. Tennessee's one of the best defenses in the nation, ranked number 8. Georgia, one of the worst teams in the nation, ranked 343rd in defense. So we have an 8th ranked defense, a 343rd ranked defense. Georgia's terrible right now. They've given up on their coach. The coach is going to be gone this year at the end of the season. 145 over under. We want players from this game, especially in cash. So let's start out with Riley, Tennessee. What do you got? Any good GVP plays, any cash games? And let's get to it.
Yeah, no. I actually like this game quite a bit. I think I believe it was last week, but played a lot of A&M last week when they played Georgia, and they lit up the scoreboard. I think they scored 90 or something like that. Like you said, Georgia's they throw in the towel. They don't play defense. Tennessee, you talk about a team that's I think getting hot at the right time. Everything's kind of pointing in the right direction for them. I'm mainly going to look at Chandler here at 7.5K. He's probably going to be one of my favorite plays on the slate here. You look at what he's done off the ball too. If you look at his steal log in the last 5 games, I believe his floor in the last 5 games, 2 steals, which is ridiculous. And he has a couple 3 or 4 or 5s in there. So for you talking about a team, Georgia, that turns the ball over a ton, this is a smash spot, I think, for him. And that's not even talking about what he does in terms of scoring, his usage, assist rate, things like that. So I think 7.5K, that to me almost was the cheapest price I've seen on this entire slate in terms of a player that can really fill it up. I'm also going to look at Josiah Jordan-James, one of my personal favorites. I think a little kind of bounce back to life here, but 6.8K, he's definitely a GVP play for me. Like I said, I'm giving Tennessee a big bump here just because of the opponent. And I just think the kind of prices, you can look at Viscabi too. I think he's similar price, but I'm really going to focus on those 2. I really love what they're both going to do kind of on the defensive end. And that's for me, that's really why I'm focusing on those 2 here.
Agree. Right now I have Kenny Chandler cored a couple places. I think Chandler's in a great spot. He's actually playing much better now. Freshman. Yeah. He was actually SEC Freshman of the Week last week, coming off, I think, his best game of the year against Mizzou. So 23 points on he shot 75% in that game, 9 for 12. One though, call I think you can make if you're going like an Oscar T or some of these higher guys. If you want to get off Kenny Chandler, you can drop down. Beside Vescovi, I have no problem dropping down to Zakai Ziegler at 6,200. He's still a little high, but Ziegler, man, he's another kid. He's another exciting freshman. You can even roll possibly an all freshman backcourt against Georgia, but Georgia's terrible. I think we're underestimating. We should be playing more than maybe one guy against Georgia. Ziegler's second on team in steals. Actually, he's ranked number 5 in the country for qualified players in steals. So Ziegler's in play. If you don't want to go Chandler, but I agree with you, Chandler's a top play. And then we also have because you want to hit. What about Brandon Huntley?
So I was
Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
Yeah, I'll finish the game up. If Huntley Hatfield is starting again, because value is we're desperate for value so much. I think he's in play. If you look at my list on my notes this morning of all my value guys, there's probably like 20 of them there. I went through every one of them, and if he's starting, and maybe he'll get some run. If I'm just nitpicking, I don't mean you don't like blowouts or considering blowouts much, but it's nitpicking. But he's an option on the Georgia side. I think you could play Quindo if you wanted to do a run back. But another thing is I'm looking at is only guy really I have in my lineups is Cook, mainly because guard is just such a weak position today. And it's such an awkward position because you're trying to fill in things. And usually we have some guys with dual eligibility, but not today. So I think Cook can be considered, because you want to play guys like there's really nobody from the 4-5 to 6 range right there that you really love. So I'll put him in play. And outside of that, I'm good.
How's the game stack this? And throwing in Kerry Oquendo because Oquendo's a stud. GDP only because once again, a Tennessee defense. But you want a game stack can be different. If you're multi-entering, get Oquendo in there. But we want pieces here. So to kind of wrap it up, Kennedy Chandler, a possibly really good cash play. I actually have him cored in some spots. Vescovi's a really good pivot if you don't want to go Chandler such GDPs. JJJ, great GDP play. Brandon Huntley Hatfield. If you're using some of these mega lineups with Oscar T and EJ and all these guys, Huntley Hatfield is a decent value at 3-6. Okay, next game. We have another 6:30 game. 2 of them tonight. Providence at Villanova, Big East. This is actually a big game here, but the problem is it's a great game you want to watch. Maybe not for DFS purposes. 2 plotting teams, but Providence they're at Villanova. Actually, Villanova was a 10-point favorite. They're in Villanova. Providence has been playing well this year, but they've been getting lucky. 134.5 over under. Really low total. Villanova number 10 offense in the country. Providence in the top 50. 2 very good defenses ranked in the top 80. Both really slow paced teams. So I'm not looking at any of these guys personally in cash. But I know Riley always has some sneaky plays here with GVPs and stuff. Riley, are you looking at anybody here from Providence? You're taking home teams tonight. Anybody from Providence or anybody from Villanova?
Yeah, this is one of those games where I kind of looked at the strips. I played the under here. The first half is 63. I played the under here. I just think with Providence kind of coming back from obviously, they clinched the Big East title on Saturday. I think this is a tough spot for them to kind of get up, but they do have a great coach. Yeah, great coach. I think they'll play well. I think they'll probably just play tough on defense. Villanova, same thing. That's why I really just couldn't land on anyone really on Providence. I struggled. I think you could play some Nate Watson if you really want to, but it's just one of those games too. If Providence gets if they're like, let's say they're down 10 at half. Do you see a lot of guys come out or not play as many minutes just because this game really doesn't matter to them in a grand game? Yeah, I could definitely see that happen.
Tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
good call.
So I couldn't see anyone on Providence really here.
Agree. Good call. Villanova. We love Justin Moore. Love Colin Gillespie. They've been safe cash plays all season. What about tonight though? What are you looking at them guys? Jermaine Sandals maybe. What are you looking at from Villanova?
I mean, the only guy I wrote down I guess you can look at more Gillespie, but Gillespie is the only guy I really wrote down. He's definitely in consideration. Whenever these guys are around 7K, you can put them in and feel pretty confident. They're getting 30, 35 minutes a game. Gillespie has a little more peripherals. He can get 30. If that's what you're wanting from that position there. It's just tough because they're in a tough. Even at 7K, it's a tough price range. But outside of that, he's the only one I really have in any lineups.
Remember, this is a big, like Riley said, this is a much bigger game for Villanova than Providence. Yeah. And Gillette, Justin Moore too, but Colin Gillespie's a damn stud. And that's a good point, Chris. 7-1's a pretty cheap price for Gillespie. And he already lit up. I know he had a good game as Providence earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I can't find it, but he did, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, I could see Gillespie putting up 25 real points tonight, getting hot. Maybe 40 DK. So don't sleep on Villanova, I guess, in GDPs. I wouldn't be playing these guys in cash, but I wouldn't be sleeping on CG or Justin Moore in GDP tonight. All right, so finally we're at 7 o'clock games. Mississippi Ole Miss against Kentucky. We got at Kentucky, Kentucky is 16.5-point favorite, 139 over under. Kentucky ranked number 6 offense in the country. Ole Miss and a 204, not a bad defense. Ole Miss plays slow. Kentucky likes to speed up a little bit. Kentucky's also got a top 25 defense. To me, the big question here, and is whether you play Oscar T or not. So actually, let's start with Chris. Because Chris has got the home teams. Let's start with Chris on this one. Home team is Oscar T. We know he's a cash game, but is he a core play? Do we need him in our lineup? Because we got some great players. We got Liddell, we got Keston, we got Hunter Dickinson tonight. We got a bunch of studs. Do you need Oscar T in your lineup? I learned a lesson Saturday by not playing him, but
I would say you don't need him until he drops 55 again.
Or 65.
65 again, yeah. So no, I think he's definitely obviously in consideration, and this is something everybody's struggling with today. Seeing where you go, it's just because of some of the prices on some of these other guys, and of course we don't have value. It's super hard. If you actually sit down and look last night, yeah, Keegan went off. He did, but you actually really didn't need Keegan at the end of the night. Now guys like Flowers dropped 50, and Jacquez got 45, and stuff like that. But if your value comes through, either way, we'll need value without him. But I definitely think it just matters. Today is really all how your builds are going and taking a stand. If you're nitpicking again, are they going to blow them out? Maybe. Then I'm really considering getting him in with our other guy Liddell, who's definitely a core. I would hesitate coring Oscar because of the price, but like everybody else is thinking, if you can afford him, he can get in your lineup if you're comfortable with your value. And then of course, the only really other guy I'm looking at is Ty. Should be chalk value, and he's back full health. Hopefully, I don't know if he started last game, but I would check. But hopefully he's starting. But definitely go, definitely in play right there. Put him in. And outside of that, I don't really have anybody from Kentucky I'm looking to use.
Yeah, Ty's a core. He did start last game, but his first game back, we all thought he was going to be out. He came back, played 35 minutes, put up 20, 22 DK points against Arkansas. But to me, it's a DK misprice. Lock him in. He's going to be very popular for a play him. And the Oscar T thing to me, and I'll go to Riley. The problem is Ole Miss has got no one from Ole Miss can cover this guy. No one. And this is a guy that's got a 55% combined rebound rate. That's crazy. The question to me is when is it too expensive? When is it fadeable? Is 10.5 the fadeable rate? We're getting to that point where 11K, can you fade him? This guy's putting up 60 DK a night. I don't want to be on the outside looking in. So a lot of it depends on, and this is our problem tonight though, is some 7 o'clock questions where like if we know Kedrian Johnson is out for West Virginia, then we can lock in Malik Curry. Then we can probably get Oscar T in our lineup. But the problem is we got so many 6:30 games for the Tennessee guys. So Oscar T though is a cash play. I'm not saying the core play because of the price, but if you can get Oscar T in with Liddell and maybe like one other decent stud, you probably want to use him in cash, but he's not like a must play, I don't think. So that's my 2 cents. Al Durham is out. Thank you, Austin Sanderson, for saying that. I didn't know Al Durham for Providence. Riley, you kind of got the bad end of the stick here on this side. Ole Miss, anybody from Ole Miss that you're looking at tonight? But you've come up with some real good ones for GDPs last week. Who was it we're laughing at? And then the guy came up and crushed that rebounder. I can't remember who it was now.
The Ham, Royce.
Ham. Yes. He actually had a good game. Royce Ham.
I'm just gonna chime in my Oscar T thoughts. I know that's kind of like that's always a big question. I mean, I just think
anybody else from Kentucky.
He obviously has a massive price. I mean, I agree with everything you said. One thing I remember was when Ole Miss played Auburn. I think Kessler had like a 60 burger. So like you said, it's just they don't have anyone to stop him. It's going to be, I would say, how long is he going to play here? But anyways, I'll get on to Mississippi. I do like one person. It's going to be a little risky. This is a GPP play only. It's going to be Matthew Murrow, guard. He's 5.3K. Should get a ton of minutes here. I'm expecting him in the 30 range. I think Mississippi gets blown out here. I mean, it's hard. This team really just nothing really about him I like. But, I mean, I think he's going to – in reality, this guy, he's not afraid to shoot three. I mean, he has a lot of games where he's shooting 10, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. He's going to chuck the three. And really – the only way I think Mississippi is going to score is just taking jumpers. And, they're not going to want to go inside and go against Oscar G. So I'm going to look at him at 5.3K. I think he's a decent option. 19% usage rate. He's actually decent at kind of keeping the ball, not turning the ball over. So just kind of a GDP punt here in case this game, Kentucky has a few times this year given up a lot of points to some kind of lesser teams. So just one player I highlighted from Ole Miss.
All right, there you go. Our GDP guy. All right, next game. I want to push it up.
Yep, South Carolina. Again, yeah. So basically, I'm not looking at much from this game, obviously, but Missouri, their defense is just terrible. I am a Bryant guy, but I just don't know what's going to go on with him, and he's kind of screwed me over the last few slates, so I'm not really using him much. But I think you can mix in the guards here, Stevenson, Cousinard. Just because Mizzou's so bad and that guard's so weak, I think they're definitely viable. So I think they're last guys in or a fill-in spot. You can use one of those guys, but outside of that, that's all I got for South Carolina.
Total GBP game because South Carolina does run at a good pace, 37th in the nation. So. Riley, what are you looking at? Anybody for South Carolina, though, there is definitely GDP plays here, but anybody else you're looking at, you're interested in? Because I'm not really interested in this game at all, personally.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough game. You never know with South Carolina, really, but, I couldn't really ignore Jermaine Cousinard's game log. I mean, he did have 33 against LSU, 22 against Miss State. I mean, the guy has shown kind of some scoring ability. Obviously, we know how bad Missouri is. So I wrote him down. I also wanted to look at Travion Brazil on Missouri. So
that's a good value. Good value.
Yeah. Yep. He's 5.5K, 28, 25, 25, 26 minutes. And, South Carolina, we're at 330th in defensive rebounding rate. So, this is maybe a good rebounding matchup for him. It's hard to get to Kobe Brown, I think, at this price. And I think if you want to look at Brazil, who, Missouri season's done, they're probably going to try to filter in some more young guys, see what they got for next year. I think this is maybe a spot where he might get 30 minutes, and who knows, you could sneak a double-double at 5.5K. Yeah, sign me up.
No, good call. Brazil's going to be a stud, too. So pretty much all GVP plays open this game. We all know Keyshawn Bryant could probably be the one that could crush, if anything. All right, next game we got is the West Virginia game at Oklahoma. It's a 7:00 game. West Virginia, Oklahoma's favored by 5. It's they're at home. It's coming out that Bedlam big win after against Oklahoma State after losing a bunch of games. 135 over under. Oklahoma 56th ranked defense. West Virginia is kind of just like a middling team in offense and defense. But we do have some DFS plays in this game, and mainly though on the Oklahoma side. But the big news here is Kedrian Johnson in or out? If Kedrian Johnson is out, we like Malik Curry at 4-5. He crushed Saturday when Johnson was out, but he came back in Saturday, re-aggravated his injury, and Curry just totally crushed. He's got crazy usage, over 30% when he's on the floor. We want Curry. I want Curry in my main lineup for cash if Ked Johnson is out. What else do you think here, Chris? Anybody else? Taz Sherman, more on Curry, whatever.
No, I'm debating if Curry is viable either way. I mean, I think West Virginia needs to play the kid no matter what. But that doesn't mean what I say is going to go. We've always said that with some guys. We have said before, about Hoggard playing for Michigan State. We saw how that went a couple slates ago. But, because once again, how the guard position is, I think he's somewhat viable either way. So if he's a guy you put in there to fill in, I think it's worth it. It's going to be better if Key Johnson is out. But, hopefully Malik gets, and they were playing Texas. And, they were pushing them to the brink there. Here's another game that should be it's only a 5-point spread. West Virginia hasn't been really, really good at all, but long story short, I think he's viable. McNeil, maybe a last piece in too. His price has gone down. This is one of the cheapest I've seen McNeil. I think my bad. He was 4,500 last league too. I guess he's an option. Just like I said, guard's terrible, but outside of that, Taz Sherman, as a game stack, or you're not really game stacking this game though. All right, GPP, but that's all I got for West Virginia.
Yeah, Ked Johnson's out. Malik Curry is pulling like a 37% usage when he's on the floor. And if he's going to get 25, 30 minutes, I am all over Malik Curry at 4-5. But we need that news. And like I said, I think he's even in play if he's out. If Ked plays, I just don't think it's as good of a play if Ked is out. Oklahoma. Let's roll to Riley. What do you have? Is there some plays here? I got a couple value plays. But Riley, what do you got for Oklahoma here?
Yeah. So, well, first off, I said I'm going to play this game over the 134.5 here, and a lot of it I've kind of been monitoring how West Virginia has played lately. So if you look at their last 5 games, or we can go 6 games, they've given up 82, 84, 77, 71, 78, 81. So this is just, a completely different team, I think, from beginning in the season. And I don't really think that's reflecting in their metrics overall. I think this defense is very bad. And Oklahoma's not a very good offense, but I think they can take advantage of this. And I think really if they hit some 3-pointers, I think that total is going to fly over here. But anyways, yeah, I'm looking at a couple guys in Oklahoma. Their game logs really, they're tough to swallow here, but I'm going to look at Goldwire at 6.2K and Jalen Hill at 5.7K. I know there's some value down the road, but I'm going to focus on those two. One stat I really pointed out here is West Virginia is 295th in free throw rate allowed. So they're fouling a lot of players and sending a lot of guys to the line. Jalen Hill, I think, will take advantage of that. He's first on the team in free throw attempts and free throws made. So I think the big guy inside, or more of a swing guy, not really a big guy, I think he'll be able to kind of take advantage of that. So I like that for a little bump kind of on his price, especially at 5.7K. I just think Groves, his usage here, it's 24% usage. I think someone's got to score here for Oklahoma, and I do think they're going to score. So I really wanted, to get Goldwire and Hill on site. And I think this game is kind of a sneaky over here, and probably one that many people might throw away, but I do think there's a little bit of value here. And, there's not many other games where you're going to get the two, most kind of high usage offensive players at 6.2 and 5.7, 5.6K.
Yeah, I agree with you on all those plays. I think this is actually a good DFS play. DFS slate. We saw Tanner Groves finally coming back now. Still at a decent price. So Tanner Groves is in play for cash. Especially he's already come off the last game against West Virginia, had one of his better games of the season.
Yeah.
And it's 32 DK points. Love Jalen Hill. I may even like Jalen Hill more than Groves. I had him right up as one of my top forward values. They're both in play. Jalen Hill has been over 22 DK for the last 5. But here is our sneaky play tonight. And me and Chris had talked about this earlier. And the more I dug into it, the more I like it. Marvin Johnson. So we have Marvin Johnson coming in at Marvin Johnson's low 3s, especially if you're trying to get Oscar T in your lineup. Plus, it's senior night at Oklahoma. I mean, I think there's a bunch of seniors out there tonight, but Marvin Johnson is in a great spot tonight. I think he was a stud at Eastern Illinois, I think it was.
Yeah. Came
in, won that game for him the other day, that Bedlam game, stole the pass there, scored the last point. Moser's totally been all week talking him up about how he's definitely been going to be filling in for Hart, for a lot of Harkless was out. Remember, Johnson's been out too hurt, so Johnson's finally coming back. So I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. I'm not saying use him in cash. I may. I also told you guys use Bo Bui last night who got sick in the first 3 minutes of the game. But I do like Marvin Johnson tonight as kind of a sneaky play. It may not be sneaky if we see him start, which I think he may be the senior night. But Marvin Johnson can make a lot of things work in your lap tonight. And he's definitely capable of getting you 20, 25 DK fantasy points tonight, definitely. So that's our call. Actually, Chris is the first one. I gotta give Chris credit. Chris is the first one that came up with it. And the more I dug into it, the more I was liking it more and more. So I like Marvin Johnson. Yeah, all right, so next game. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I don't think he's sneaky necessarily. We're just waiting to see if he starts.
I can't see him being no more than 25% owned, but won't be starting. He will be, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was one guy in West Virginia that I forgive me if this was just mentioned, but did either of you notice Cottrell at 3.9K West Virginia? Played. He's getting a lot of minutes and he's a decent rebounder. I thought
he's been starting too, right?
I think he started last.
He's started the last 4 or 5 games, I think.
Yeah,
so that's Control, right?
Yeah, I think if you the lineups, I was spitting Oscar T, and I played some of him. So I just wanted to highlight that. I thought he was a decent price.
No, I'm just calling him. No, not yeah. He played 28 minutes last game against Texas. He's been starting. Yeah, I was right. Last 5 games, he didn't start a couple in the middle there. So Control's really been a start all year, and I hate mess with Huggy, man. But
yeah.
These guys, that's the problem. But no, my bad call is Zay Control. At was he 3.8?
3.9.
All right, there you go, Zay Control. All right, next game, Nebraska at Ohio State. We have this should be possibly a blowout. In Columbus, 15.5-point favorite. Ohio State is the number 19 offense. Nebraska is horrible. 239th ranked offense, 286 for defense. Both ranked 300th defensive and offensive rebound. They can't rebound, but they'll push the pace. They're one of the fastest teams in the country, even though they can't play defense or have no offense. So we want a piece of Ohio State here. I think EJ Liddell is a lock for cash. We also have the word Michi Johnson is playing without a mask for once. Then the other news was, which I guess is very important, is we have Kyle Young because Zed Key is out. So Zed Key is definitely out, which pumps Kyle Young up to near core play as a 5.4 price. So Christian of Nebraska, you look at anybody from Nebraska in this game, and they'll get the rally in Ohio State.
I've used Verge the last 3 or 4 slates. I think Verge had a better matchup last time against Iowa. I know I used him 2 slates ago. Sorry, I didn't use him against Penn State. But no, he's the only one I would consider. His price went down. We have used some guards against OSU before, but I think he's a GPP play mostly. He's the only one from Nebraska. I did. Well, last slate, McCallens was more of a fill-in last spot guy. So Verge is the guy I'm kind of looking at there to get in. If as a GPP play, it's about it.
No, agreed. Definitely GPPs. Riley, Ohio State, beside E.J. Liddell, who's a core play cash because he's going to get about 20 rebounds. I have him as a PrizePicks over. I also have his PRA over on PrizePicks. And then Kyle Young, I think, especially with Zed Key out. Anybody else you like? A couple other guys I like for Ohio State.
Yeah, obviously, I think Liddell is a must. He's a must in a lot of your lineups here tonight. Great spot for him. I do actually like Milwaukee Branham at 6.7K for GBP. Last Monday, I was debating between Wheeler, who's a little cheaper than him, and I paid up for Branham against Indiana, and it basically won every contest I was in. And not win, I mean, it won money in every contest I win because of that decision. I really like how this guy's playing, and I love how he shoots. He's also getting some rebounds and assists, steals, blocks. He's a really good player. I think he's their second best player, obviously outside of Liddell here. And I think just kind of the way that's trending, you can see that he's taking more control of the offense. I really love him, and I think 6.7K against Nebraska. I mean, this is very cheap to me. So he's one of my favorite plays of the slate. I love this price here.
And remember, Bram that was like kind of his what's the word? His coming out party.
Yeah.
When they played Nebraska, it was like right around New Year's 2nd. 40. He almost had a 50 burger, 46 DK points, and that was a random coming out party. Huge game. You're right. He's the second best player, Liddell. If for some reason you're fading Liddell, especially GPs, you got to play Malaka Branham at 6'7". Definitely. I guess you can play both together, but definitely if you're fading Liddell, you play Branham. Anybody else you're looking at Riley beside Branham, Liddell, or Kyle Young?
Yeah, those are really the three for me. I mean, there's a couple cheap guys in Ohio State, but it's I really want to focus on Branham. He's going to be one of my big keys tonight.
Chris, weren't you looking at something else from Ohio State for some GVPs?
Yeah, I personally, somewhat think because of his price and because guard's so weak, I'm considering Wheeler a little bit. I definitely got him mixed in, but now that he's definitely out, it's Liddell and Young, and you can look at. I think if you want to fill in with 3K guys and you need one or two, you can look at Eugene Brown. I like mostly him and Aarons. They're all going to have opportunities. I mean, there's a bunch of other guys too that get 10, 15 minutes. They're going to have opportunities. Russell, shoot, you can mix them all in. But I think Wheeler is a little sneaky, kind of like a Leaky Black last night. Should have considered him a little more. His rates are, he's more of a glue guy, but if Wheeler gets 30 minutes against Nebraska, you never know with these kind of games. So just like I said, because guard's so weak, I definitely think he's a pretty good option.
And a lot of points scored in this game. Nebraska's bad, so nice call on Wheeler. All right, next game we go to is Kansas at TCU. Of course, Kansas road favorite, 6.5 points. Kansas number 13 offense, number 70th defense, decent pace. TCU good defense, top 40. Middle of the road offense, slower team, 142.5 over under. There probably is some. I'm not looking personally at any cash plays. I'm all about cash here today. But so let's start with who's got the home teams? Is it Riley's got home teams? Let's start with Riley. Who are you looking at, Kansas? But there is some WGP plays, especially Christian Brown, Agbaji, Big Dave McCormick. Who are you looking at for Kansas?
So Kansas, this is actually another game I'm going to take over here. It's 143. I really like how Kansas has been playing on offense. TCU actually has looked decent on offense too. They had a nice game against West Virginia last week. But yeah, a couple guys I'm going to look at here. Obviously, I think you have to look at Abaji here at 8.7K. I mean, he's really, really starting to fill up the scoring. Like it's, if you look at his recent scoring, 27, 23, 23, 20. He's really cleaning up on boards, assists. He's a little scary with the turnovers, but TCU is not really turning many teams over. I think you have to look at him. I think you have to look at Braun too. I think he's kind of settled in. He had a stretch in kind of the middle of conference play where he was really filling it up. Now he's very consistent now, and I think he's a good cash play. I know cash isn't my forte, but I think he's a good cash play here. I think he'll get a lot of rebounds. He'll get some assists here, and he'll be able to score. He's not as good a scorer as Abaji, but I think at his price, he's definitely in play. I struggled here with the two big men. I know I played Wilson last week, and I think he had 25. I mean, TCU is not anything. It's tough to get to these two guys. They've really kind of been. It's almost like they're alternating who's kind of putting in the better DK performance here. I guess I would lean Wilson here, but yeah, I struggle to get to either of them here. I'm going to focus more on the guards, especially with how Braun has been rebounding too lately.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys are playing, but to me, they're all GVP plays, and I do like Mike Miles Jr. Chris, I think you agree with me. Do you have any more on this game? We move on to Pitt so we can move along, but unless you have a cash play, but
no,
I like the Abaji call from Riley. All right, so let's move on. This to me, that's more of a GVP play, even though Riley does like Jalen Wilson, but Jalen Wilson to me is a GVP play.
Yeah.
All right, so Duke Pitt. Duke is traveling to Pitt. Duke's 14.5 point favorite. Could definitely be a blowout. Duke's great offense, number 5, number 41 defense. Pitt just kind of sucks. They run slow, no tempo. 139 over under. Man, to me, this is not much of a cashy game either. Even though I love John Hughley, especially for cash. I'm a big Hughley guy, but cash tonight. So wait, who's Riley? Who you got for Duke? And then go to Chris Pitt. To me, there's not much for DFS cash here, but definitely GVPs.
Yeah. So one kind of thing I really highlighted here, just in terms of the game script and where I think the matchup is going to play out. So Pittsburgh is one of the worst teams at defending the 3-pointer in the entire country, giving up 36% from 3. I mean, that's horrendous. Miami tore him up last week. I think the last show I was on, I think it was on last Tuesday. Miami really tore him up. So I wanted to look at a couple guys on Duke that I think can really, shoot the 3. I think, it's a little risky. Don't really love his game log in terms of consistency, but AJ Griffin at 6.9K, I think is a really good play in GVP.
Good shooter.
Yeah, he's a really good shooter. That's really what I focus on here. I just think Pitt is really going to have to, they want to focus on stopping inside, which, Duke is obviously incredible inside. So I think Griffin is going to have a ton of open looks here. I think he's worth it just with how the offense is going to play out. And then also basically kind of the same thing. I wanted to look at Keels, who I think shoots a lot of 3s too. He has some assist potential, some okay rebounds. He's good at steals too, and Pitt does turn the ball over a ton. So I really, really just wanted to focus on AJ Griffin in GPP, one of my favorite GPP plays tonight, because I think he can light it up from 3, and I think the game script is going to benefit him a lot. And then obviously, you can definitely look at Banchero, but I just think the other kind of forwards around his price, I think he can get better production than him. That's just my opinion, but
I agree. Banchero's more of a guy with a safe floor, but doesn't have that ceiling like some of the other guys you've been talking about, like Castleton, Liddell, Dickerson have. So Banchero is always a safer play. Love the AJ Griffin call, especially where Pittsburgh is not the greatest at defending a 3, 275th in the nation. AJ Griffin's a great 3-point shooter. He's actually been playing much better than I thought. 28 DK, 26, 26, 24. So Griffin's been playing well. And he's a shooter. He's actually an active shooter from beyond the arc. Chris, are you looking at anybody from Pittsburgh besides my man John Hughley? But I don't want to get anybody wrong. I think Hughley's a GBP play. But man, Hughley is, to me, I think he's a stud. He's elite, and he's a Pittsburgh team. But don't play him in cash. Boom.
Yeah, the only other guy I considered was Horton because of his price.
Mogai. What about Mogai?
Yeah, I considered him, but I'm really not. With tonight's slate, I can't get to these guys that are 7K. If I'm going to anybody, it's Hughley, and then Horton just because of his price once again at guard. But that's the only two. Guy, if he can stay out of foul trouble, we don't know. He'll probably have bench. His foul rate's a little high, so he can have a game 35-40, but he can also have a game 25. So outside of that, that's all I got for that game.
And once again, it's more of a GBP game. I do like the Riley's calling Adrian Griffin. I think Adrian Griffin's going to be a sneaky GBP play, especially the way Pittsburgh is pushing out toward beyond the arc. And Mogai, John Hughley, GBPs. Next, we have 2 more games left. This next game is a little bit more interesting. We had the Florida Gators at Vanderbilt. Starting with Florida. Florida's on the road. Vandy's a 1-point favorite. Florida needs to win this game. So they're on that bubble. Probably actually on the outside looking in right now. 134.5 over under. Florida slow team. Vanderbilt medium team. All right, Riley, quickly, what do you got for Vanderbilt? What do you got for Florida? I think Colin Castleton is close to a lot cash play, but not the greatest matchup though.
Yeah, no, I obviously I think Castleton, great play. I mean, we all know what he can do. He's a great play here. I really did. I looked at 2 guys in Florida who I really love how they've been playing recently too. And one is going to be Appleby at 6K. I know they've been benefited kind of by the teams they're playing lately in terms of tempo, but he really seems to kind of get back into that form of where he was last year, where he was kind of their dominant point guard. He's only 6K. Vanderbilt is not really. They're a decent defensive team, but it's not something that they can't take advantage of. Florida obviously wants to score almost all their points from the 3 outside of Castleton, and he'll shoot a ton. He shot 9, 9, and 10 in their last 3 matches. So last 3 games, excuse me, still on soccer talk here, but I definitely think he's in play just because he's going to shoot a ton of threes. And then also I wanted to look at Fleming, who PJ Fleming or Philandrius Fleming, excuse me.
Yep.
He's another guy. Yeah, he's going to shoot a ton of threes too. So I think if Florida wins here, they got to hit shots because Vanderbilt's obviously going to focus everything on Castleton, and those are going to be the 2 guys that benefit. So outside of the obvious Castleton, I do think both of those guys are in play, and Fleming is actually a decent rebounder too. So and a decent assist guy.
Yeah, I agree. I like Appleby. I thought I'm just waiting for Appleby's bubble to burst here because he's been playing so well. And he had 30 DK. Appleby had 30 DK fantasy points against Vandy earlier. So, okay, now going to Chris. You get Vanderbilt. Yeah. Anybody there? We love Scottie Pippen, Gibbon, Robbins. Value. Anybody?
I think Pippen's okay leverage. Maybe at the end of the night, if you're way behind you, and you had Castleton, you have 100 left over, put him in. But Pippen, we like using Pippen. I don't think his price should be at 9,400, but maybe I'm wrong. I know he's been playing very well, but I don't know. He's playing really good, so maybe that's a fair price for him, but maybe a little cheaper, I would think. But Liam Robbins, man, I would like to use him. And just to backtrack a little bit on Vanderbilt's pretty good against the 3, so I'm going to be a little careful using Appleby here. I think he's in play because of the price. Once again, I've mentioned it 10 times already, but with guard, if he's the last, you're trying to really maneuver there. But I'm really trying to stay around the 5K for guard or whatnot, pay up at the forwards. But I digress. So Vanderbilt, yeah. So Liam Robbins, Florida, we've been attacking on the inside. So I definitely think Robbins is in play. I think he got into foul trouble last game, and he only played, 15, 16 minutes. And then outside of Robbins, another guy, if you're looking for 3K guys, this Lawrence guy's been starting, I think. You might not be able to wait till 8:30, but I don't think Chapman's going to play, but what do I know? So it just depends. If you like the upside of OT, Castleton, Hunter, you can look at maybe getting Lawrence in there for 3K. And I tell you a trend, the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 nights, I'd have to really go back over, but I feel like I'm not going to say it can happen tonight, so don't risk it. But it seems like every night value opens up somewhere, somehow. just the way of the beast the last 4 or 5 nights. So
Yep.
if you want to risk that, that's what your risk tolerance is. Some people got enough bankroll to risk that, or they're trying to play it safe. So a lot of talking there, sorry, but basically, yeah, Liam Lawrence maybe has a pure punt, and that's about it.
All right, so sorry, Riley, I jumped over you there.
Wait. You got to use Felder, right? Just kidding.
What do you say?
We got to use Felder, right?
CJ Felder, yeah. And they come to find out he was fighting through an injury during that game. Even before the game started, we knew he was hurt. I didn't, but he was hurting. So, no, CJ Felder sunk us on Saturday. Don't even bring up that name. All right, so we only have a couple minutes here. Michigan State at Michigan. There is a couple plays here. Quickly, Riley, what do you have for Michigan State? Kind of shitty, but you can never leave out Tommy Izzo. Man, it scares me even playing against them. You look at anybody, AJ Hauger, Tyson Walker, these guys are all popular on Saturday, and all of a sudden today, though, they're bridesmaids. So anybody looking at for Michigan State?
Yeah, it's just gives me a gray hair just thinking about this one. But I'll keep it short. I'm only for Michigan State. I only looked at Marble. I just think his price is in play. I don't trust anyone on this roster, but I did play some Marble just because of kind of the spot and where he's trending in terms of the rotation. I think he's in play here. And very, very hard team to trust for fantasy reasons.
Definitely. And GP only. Chris, quickly, Michigan, Musa Diabate, I think, is near a core play because of his price. You can beat up Michigan State inside. We both like Hunter Dickinson. I don't think you can play them both together, but I guess you can. But Diabate, core play, Dickinson. If you get Dickinson in, you play him, right?
Yeah, I think you can play both of them in cash. He's Hunter. He's kind of my semi gut call. It's hard to have gut calls on a slate like this, but I do like Hunter a lot here. It could be a late night, not really a late night hammer. It starts at 8:30, but Eastern. But I think he's in a pretty good spot. Just depending on how your builds go. He's going to be somewhat lower owned. I think they lost last time. He's at home, he's at home here. Let me see. Did he get in foul trouble? He got a little bit of foul trouble last time. I mean, he got 35. Oh, but they lost last time. Long story short, I think he's a pretty solid play. And then Diabetes, of course. And then outside of that, I want to just I did look at Marvel a little bit for Michigan State, and that's it.
I'm getting some cryptic messages from of course, Bob Huggins about Kedrian Johnson. What?
I'll put you. Sorry to cut you out there. I would put Houston into play too. He popped out a little bit. I think he's playing well, and he's playing at home. So I think he's going to come out. He's getting 35 minutes or so a game, and if you watch the games, he's a baller. I think he's young, but I definitely consider him in the mix, and that's it. Sorry. Oh shoot.
I'm seeing tweets coming out from Bob Huggins about Kedrian Johnson talking about Saturday. Huggins saying he fought it. He got some deep bruises. He tried to go, but he couldn't. But man, that's just cryptic. He's not even telling us about tonight because we need to know this in the next couple of minutes. Because if Ked Johnson is out, I would put Lee Curry in, and I would get Oscar team on main lineup. So all right. So Craig Bratton was asking who'd miss a sneak value. We were talking about that actually in our Discord tonight, and the sneak value I'm saying is Marvin Johnson for Oklahoma. If he's starting on senior night, he had a huge game. East Illinois transfer, big game. He's back from injury. He could be getting 25, 30 minutes tonight. It's not guaranteed, but it's senior night, and Marvin Johnson is one of our sneak value plays tonight. at like 3.8. All right, so 6:23. You got 2 minutes. Chris, give me your. And don't give me EJ Liddell or Oscar T. Who was your favorite play of the night?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm gonna go ahead and say Hunter Dickinson. I think outside of some of the guys, I'm gonna go with him. I don't know, for transparency, I don't know if he's gonna end up in my guess, but he's close to it.
No, I agree. I like Dick. Between Dick and Castleton. Riley, who's your top play beside Oscar T, Liddell, and Hunter Dick?
Yeah, so I'll just give my 2 top plays tonight. I'm going to go with Chandler on Tennessee, 7.5K. Love him. I think he can have,
good call.
I think he's top scorer. And then my second one here, I'm going to go with Brahami on Michigan State. Ohio State. Sorry, 6.7K. I think he's in a huge spot here at against horrible Nebraska. I think he'll put up a monster number here.
Yep, and I like even with EJ, but especially if you want to fade EJ and GDPs, play Malaka Branham. Looks like especially Kyle Young is popping right now with Zed Key out. Is popping up the projections. Mo Gibson is still popping a little bit. Mikey Miles, I'm seeing. Malik Curry is still popping. We still got to get confirmed about Kedrian Jackson being out. But yeah, well, actually, Malaka Branham's popping a little bit right now too. So. Check out my cores in there. Craig Bratton, I just answered your question about Marvin Johnson. He may be in my main lineup. And I think that's it. We got 6 minutes to lock. Thank you guys. Have any questions? Deuces, we're out of here and hope we'll be back. I think
good luck.
I have stuff going on tomorrow, but I think Thursday. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mickey, my producer. Thank you, Chris Duffy. Thank you, Riley.
Go Badgers. Everyone have a good night. Good luck.
Thanks.